Hello, lovelies. Welcome to a mini-sode of the Limitless Podcast. If you have been listening into all the episodes, you've been seeing that I've been dropping these short, little kind of like punchy moments for you to access your limitless self. And I want to see if you can help me out. I've been thinking about branding this, talking about this in a way. So I was thinking about maybe the Limitless Minute or the Unlimited Break, thinking about what I should call these shorter episodes. So I want to ask you to help me. I'll drop it on my Instagram, but also if you have an idea of what you think I should call this, let me know. I would love to hear. Okay, but today's mini-sode though, I want to get into the limit that really ends up being pervasive, ends up being something that hides under the radar that can really cause some problems. So in general, we talk a lot about limits and how we want to break free on this podcast. But there is one that I see blocking every single one of my clients and me that I think we're unaware of on a regular basis. And that is control. This idea that we have control over things outside of ourselves is something that can be so problematic and really cage how we're feeling. So sometimes we feel like we can control the outcome of a launch, of an event, of any situation. We control how others think or feel about us. We control how and when we reach our goals, or we can control how quickly we figure things out. Now, all of those are things we do not have control over. It's important to talk about this here because I think control usually comes with impatience, but we all have our own timelines of how we're going to kind of figure these things out. But it's important to know that the need to control things outside of ourselves has got to be one of the top thieves of joy, one of the highest causes of stress, and is the instigator of self-doubt. So this mini-sode is asking you to be unattached, to find ways to focus your time and energy on things you can control and how that can be the most freeing experience. So let's assess. What do we think we can control and what is actually true of what we can't control? So for my entrepreneurs, I know this first one's a big one. We think we can control how many people buy our product or sign up for our programs. If people sign up, that means that we're good, right? Or if they don't, if we don't think that we're enough, we think that there's something wrong or we're not going to reach success. What's true and what's real is that we can only influence, we can only make an impact, and we can only encourage in our marketing. So this is a lot of the reasons why I want you to lean into purpose, to enjoy the process of marketing, because the more we can get you out there and loving that, your energy is going to be contagious and it's going to make an impact and encourage people to come into your world. So unless you're ready to kidnap someone and force them to use their credit card on your products, understand that becoming a business means we cannot control how many people jump in with us. We can only create the conditions that they're going to be more likely to be in our rooms. Another one is we think we can control how other people feel or think. We all have different perspectives on the world. We all get triggered or have some different emotional wounds. So this idea that we think that everyone is going to like the way we do things, everyone is going to agree with us, is absolutely a hard pill to swallow when it comes to control. So finding the validation from others or wanting others to think the way that we do, release that control. Understand that the more that you can be in a discussion with somebody, the more that you can have empathy and see them for where they are, the more you will learn from that. So where's the fun in us not being able to connect over disagreements just as much as we agree? So this is where you want to build a bank of compassion first for yourself, and then that gets to be translated to others. I think one of the biggest things that this comes up with is I'll have a client who does like a service provider, and she'll be so angry by how her client reacted or how someone reacted whenever they were being sold to. And the first thing I have to ask her every single time is like, what would you feel like in their shoes? How would that make you feel? and then be able to walk our way back of how can we really create these good connections by understanding ourselves and understanding how we can connect. So understanding that the more we can see that we don't control how many people sign up, or we don't control how others feel, is important. But also this last one, how we cannot control when things happen. So patience is absolutely a virtue for us in our life, but also in the world. So if you're able to see that the more patience you have, the more you are on a trail of progress over feeling like you can control exactly how things happen, the more likely you might have quicker results. I think impatience has to be the first moment where someone's like, all right, I got to give up this. I'm failing left and right, instead of deciding I'm in this for the long haul. I'm in this because I like how it makes me feel on the day to day. And I know the more that I'm here, the more likely I am to build that community who's ready to buy from me. So when we talk about control, check in with these three areas. We cannot control how others feel. We cannot control how many people sign up, and we cannot control when things happen. You are responsible for how you feel in that process. So what's true? What is actually true about what we can control in the world? We can control what we share. We can control the kind of impact we want to make. So this is why in that engagement episode, I was telling you, we got to release this idea of validation first, but also be able to take a step back and decide, what am I here for? What am I trying to create when I'm sharing online? We can control how we react. This is why I talk a lot about emotional mastery. So if you create a safe home within yourself, that the way you think of yourself, your belief in yourself is the most important, your voice is your superpower, who gives a crap what other people say? So being able to know that you can create that within yourself, and even when someone is being cutting, you can come back to the fact that that's not true for me, and I know how to handle that interaction. But the last one is how we control how we treat ourselves. So if right now you're pushing yourself, you're hustling to try to make things happen, and you feel burnt out, the only person who's responsible for that is you. So if you want to feel that you're well taken care of, take a look at your day-to-day. Take a look at how well, if you are in a relationship with yourself, which you are, for the record, how can you show up better for yourself? How can you give yourself the space and time to do the things that you love? So today, take a look at where control might be creating pressure, where control might be turning into perfectionism, or where control is making you just feel burnt out by the process of entrepreneurship. And instead decide, how can I feel good in every single day by controlling how I feel, what I share, and how well I treat myself.